Freaker Frog is my ongoing series where I face my fear of the unfinished, go into my large accumulation of woebegone whips, and I make some choices about whether I'm going to freak out about a project, put it on my hook and actually get it done, or whether I'm going to reclaim that good yarn out of a bad project and frog it. So I actually was going through and I was cleaning some things up in my office because, if you haven't heard, I'm in the process of removing all the things from my office so I can remodel it. But first, I have to go through and deal with all the things. And the cat. Freaker Frog is my ongoing series where I face my fear of the unfinished, go into my large accumulation of woebegone whips, and I make some choices about whether I'm going to freak out about a project, put it on my hook and actually get it done, or whether I'm going to reclaim that good yarn out of a bad project and frog it. So I actually was going through and I was cleaning some things up in my office because, if you haven't heard, I'm in the process of removing all the things from my office so I can remodel it. But first, I have to go through and deal with all the things. And the cat. So I was going through this area and all of my whips and putting the whips all into a basket so that they would not get lost, basically, and that I could still continue to work on them, even in, I don't exactly know how long it's going to take for all of this to shake out, so, you know, to be prepared. So I found one of my whips, which had been taken out of a project bag and just put in a bucket with several other things when I needed the bags, probably for traveling at some point in the recent-ish past. And the project in question is my square deal sweater. I started this sweater last year? Maybe. Yes. About a year ago, I think. Because I was trying to go in reverse order through using my stash, have a ton of this burnout mosaic in the color Optimistic. I bought like a whole case of it from the Yarns Spin Right e-tent back when that was a thing. Got a good deal. Have tried to use it in a number of things. Most things I've tried to make out of this yarn I've not been happy with. And we can just add this sweater to the list. So I kind of remember thinking it was okay as I was working on it. Probably because as I was going round and around, it didn't seem too bad. It's like a giant, just like rectangle-y thing. And then I had actually even started to kind of work the sleevey bits. So I actually started frogging this already. So you can just know from the beginning what's going to happen to this project. It's a frog, not a freak. Well, yeah, probably going to end up being a frog. It's definitely a mess with. I'm at least frogging part of it. So I went and I held up the sweater in the mirror just to see what I thought. And what I realized is, like, this is based on a pattern. It was a free pattern. But it's not a pattern meant for this yarn. And I think my gauge is wrong. And I'm not enjoying the proportions, like how wide versus long this is turning out. And because of the construction of this rectangle with this particular yarn, it's like it doesn't sit right. So anyways, I am, at this point, going to frog this top section, which will just leave me with a giant rectangle. I'm going to, at that point, whip stitch the corners together and try it on and see if I like it as one of those shrug things that everybody's been making. If I do, if I think that this, because I think that that might make the little kind of poochy bit not look bad, because that would actually be on my back, so it would be nice to have a little more ease there. So I'm going to try that. And if I decide that I like it that way, well then I might build out the front a bit or build down the arms a little. We'll talk about that if that becomes a thing. But if not, I'm going to frog the whole thing and add these balls to the ones I have. I don't know what's going to happen to those balls, but they're going to not be in this particular sweater. So I'm going to go and frog this top part, because if it's not going to fit right, I'm not going to wear it. So even if I've spent all this time and whatever, it's not worth it. So, okay, I'm going to go and try and salvage this project before I just potentially just salvage the yarn. We'll see. Update time. So after I frogged the beginning of that sweater and tried taking the rectangle part and tried it on as like a shrug, which was super awkward, hence the reason I didn't film it, I determined that it was not the right size or dimensions for that either. So I went about frogging it, and here is the resulting pile of yarn, which is now jumping off my table. So these are going to get added to the box with the rest of my Bernat Mosaic, waiting for the right project. I'm waiting a long time for the right project, but someday the right project will come along. So this yarn has been a lesson to me in finding yarn that you like and you just keep not liking what it's in. I have made one particular hat pattern for kids, and I've made more than one of them that I do like in this yarn. However, I have way more yarn than I will ever necessitate cats made in that amount. And I would like to make something bigger out of it, so I'm just going to keep trying my very hardest to come up with what I want to do with this, and just know that that particular sweater is not it. So, I'm going to go put this away, and I will see you all next time. Bye!